Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would do a little bit of a different video. I got a new tarot deck today and I wanted to do a deck interview spread and show you basically how to basically introduce yourself to your deck and how to bond with it a little bit using this spread. I have used this every time I can remember to when I've gotten a new tarot deck, or it has been one that I have started to use quite a lot. I'll go back and I'll do a deck interview spread just to make sure that I'm working with my tarot deck the best way that I can. I'm getting the most out of it, and that that's just a bit of bonding right there, back and forth. So I'm going to do a spread. I've got my tarot journal here. This is what I would recommend to have, is some pens, obviously your tarot deck, a journal. I really like having a specific tarot journal personally. And then yeah, you want to have your deck ready. And I've also just gone on Pinterest and I found a random deck interview spread. So Pinterest I find personally a bit better than Google for finding stuff to do with tarot, because it's all infographics and pictures, right? So this one here has 7 cards, and it basically, I was asking, who are you? Why did you come to me? How do you speak? How should I listen? Where are we going? How do we work? Can you connect to the divine? That last one, I didn't actually see the question, so I might change the question slightly because I don't feel it matches. Because yes, yes, we all connect to the divine, in my opinion. So it's not like, does the deck connect? The deck is being used as a way to communicate with spirit and the divine. So it is the tool you're using to receive the messages. So when it comes to that last card, the card 7, can you connect to the divine? The answer is going to be yes, personally, for any. As I said, yes, it was 222 on the clock, on my recording. So yeah, you're always connected to the divine. These tarot cards are just a tool that help you get there and understand what they're wanting to say to you. So we'll get started. I'll introduce and do like an unboxing of the tarot deck. It is a secondhand deck I got, but the person I bought it off said it is from Etsy. So I'll see if I can find the Etsy description or the link as well. I don't know if I'll be able to do it, but let's get started. Okay, so we have the tarot deck here. It has a really gorgeous imagery or illustration on the cover. Really nice box inside. So yeah, it was the bag and then a box. Okay, so the box is pretty sturdy. It's really nice. Then we've got, here we go. So this is the guidebook. So it's Tarot Cards Dark Forest. This is just a little bit of history at the start. Quite a few pages of history talking about all the way from the 13th century right through to now. And then it's got the basic information of tarot with a small guide on how to do a Celtic cross. So just move all this out of the way. So as you can see, the back is like this. And the cards are it's just a standard Rider-Waite-Smith deck, but you'll notice that it just has a bit of a darker edge, bit of like a filter as on the cards. They're actually a lot darker in real life. Oh my gosh, they're really slippery too. I don't know if you could notice that, but when I yeah, they shuffle nicely. I really like the way they shuffle. They're just a little bit slippery when I'm holding them, but the more I work with them, the more they should sort of get better with that aspect. So that is, I don't really need to go through all the cards because everyone has seen probably the Rider-Waite-Smith. Okay, so I thought next I would show you how I like to present or set up my tarot journal. So you can see I've already got quite a bit of pages, so we'll move over here. And you basically just want to put a title and the date. The date here, it's the 24th. I usually don't put the year because I can usually tell what year it was done in. For example, this one has 2020. I've had this journal for too long. There was a period where I wasn't really doing tarot, so I wasn't writing it down. So I do find that I get more information when I do write down everything. So what we're going to start with now is we've got our title. We're just going to do the questions. So card 1, question 1, who are you? 2, why did you find me? This might be more applicable if you've been gifted a tarot deck, although I don't believe that you need to be gifted a tarot deck to start in with tarot. Okay, so I've got all of my questions here. So I've got, who are you? Why did you find me? How do you speak? Where are we going? How should I listen? I accidentally wrote these the wrong way, but it doesn't really matter. I've just put a little note here that they're supposed to be the wrong way because how should I listen should be going after how do you speak. Also, how do we work together? And then the last question was, can you connect to the divine? I've already covered that, so I just changed it. Message from spirit regarding deck. Usually this is just something I find that is more so just a little message from spirit. I love getting like little messages from spirit at the end of a spread. But regarding this deck, you know, there might be something that spirit wants to talk to you about specifically for what this deck means for you and them. Now that I've written down my questions, I know what the questions actually are. I find that's very helpful is writing things down because I can remember what the questions are a little bit better. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get my deck, and I've already cleansed it. So I passed it through some incense smoke earlier. I have my incenses all run out now. I'm just going to shuffle these. So slippery. They just exploded. Exploded. Really nice cardstock though. They're nice and thick. Bear with me while I shuffle. Okay, I like to shuffle 3 times. I also like to knock on the deck before I pull any cards. So I would go deck, interview, spread. For some reason, for me, it always works out that I have like 3 syllables in what I want to say. I just must match it together because I want to knock 3 times. Okay, so my first question, who are you? Oh. That's the first jumper I've had, okay? So as soon as I've asked questions, I've had the cards come out. So we've got Justice. And I'll show you how I like to write this up in my journal as well in just a moment. I'm going to pull all the cards first. So why did you find me? Why did you find me? Let's see. Why did you find me? Okay. Ace of Cups. How do you speak? How do you speak? And take your time. You know, if you're someone that likes to shuffle, then pull from the top of the deck or the bottom of the deck, do that. I personally like to get, it depends on feeling, what I'm feeling mentally, just because sometimes I'm directed to shuffle certain ways. So then that is the how do you speak. We've got the Four of Wands. Very positive. How positive is this? Very. We've got the Ace of Cups and the Four of Wands. So how should I listen? So I'm going to ask the listening question, even though I know I wrote it in the wrong section. How do I listen? How should I listen? Best way to listen. You can sort of rephrase your questions as long as it's asking the same thing. How should I listen? How should I listen? The Star. This is one of the most positive readings I've done in a while. So, where are we going? Where are we going? So that's basically like your relationship together. Where would it go if you were to work with this deck and expand? Where are we going? Where are we going? We've got the Six of Pentacles. Then we've got, how do we work together? Page of Cups. This is very, very positive. I haven't had a reading like this for a while for myself. So I love doing deck interview spreads because it's not really about you. It's not about another person. It's about a connection to a tool that you're using. And this tool and what you're being told about it is coming from what I believe would be divine or your spirit guides, to help you understand like what's going on in your life, interpret messages and advice that you may need to hear. Certain things like that. So let's get message from spirit. Easy, quick, nice and quick. So I've got the King of Wands. So let's put this all into the book. Okay, so I've got my spread here and I've got my journal, and what I'm going to do is basically I use a different color pen, so I've written everything in black. I'll go back through it with a different color pen so I know what is an interpretation and what is a question. Okay, let's see. So I've got number 1 and we've got Justice. So who are you? What is your personality? I get someone, this is very fair. Everything likes to be balanced. Will reveal truths. You got to remember, this is what is the personality of someone that embodies justice. This is what I'm trying to find out. So I was in the middle of Justice and I needed to add a light, so I've started, I thought I pressed record and then it wasn't recording. So I've only done Justice and the Ace of Cups. So when I had Justice, this is who are you? So I need to find out what is their personality like? What is the personality or the vibration of the deck? What is the energy it's going to give back to me? And interact with me. What kinds of interactions can I find will come from this person? I say person, but it's a tarot deck. So I wrote someone who is fair, likes to be balanced, will reveal truths and be honest, clear communication. And then we have the Ace of Cups. So I've already started on the Ace, which is why did you find me? You come back down here and you can go to bring in emotional fulfillment, new emotional opportunity, a fresh start. Like I was just saying that I feel like it's a fresh start, mainly because I haven't had a Rider-Waite-Smith deck for a while. And the one that I did have, I I used some of them to create a communication spell. So I use the deck anymore because I've used them for projects and crafting. So let's move on to the third question, which is, how do you speak? We've got the Four of Wands. Okay, so the Four of Wands kind of stumped me for a moment because it's saying, how do you speak? So this is more of an action card. So trying to transfer it into interpreting it for something for how someone would speak or carry themselves is a little bit different because it's definitely a card of action and movement. So you've got obviously the figures here in between the garland, which a lot of people will refer to as like the 1111 or the solid foundations. You can see there's 4 foundations. This is a 4. So I did write that they will speak from a place of security, reliability, and stability. So it's very trustworthy. But you got that with the Justice card as the first card out. So you also want to think about what kind of character traits are you looking for when someone is speaking. So you got to think about the way that you would use to describe someone speaking or the way that they would come across to you. And that's how to go. But this one did stump me a bit. So yeah, I did also put there is a trustworthiness, there's a harmony, and there's a celebratory aspect to the way that the deck would like to speak. But I'm not sure if that's quite obvious or not to anyone else, but I do get that because there's overwhelmingly very positive cards here. So I'm guessing that the deck likes to speak very truthful, and that if there is a negative situation, that it might not be, it will probably be a little bit more blunt with Justice here. It's very honest. So let's get onto the fourth question, which is, how should I listen? And we have the Star. So the Star is all about hope, optimism, keeping faith, that sort of renewal and healing. So how should I listen? I should be receptive, have faith in what is being said. I should have a sense of renewal from listening to this deck. Just in a sense of being able to see what I'm aspiring to. I also see moderation and balance. So don't go overboard. I'm getting don't go overboard with readings. This is to be used for like just clients. So I'm glad that this is coming up because I'm not going to be using it personally, and I'm not going to be putting a lot of use into it unless I have a lot of regular clients. And even then, I'm hoping just to have, another deck. I love having tarot decks. As you can see, there's already decks all around. So we've got number 5. And the question for number 5 is, where are we going? 6 of Pentacles. So this is all about give and take, and obviously in this one he's actually being very charitable. So I do want to put here there's going to be charitable actions. Again, there's that balance. We've got the scales again here, as we had in the truth in the Justice card. We've got evening the scales. So for me, this is more of an intuitive test as well. So for whatever I know what the card means at its numerical and its suit and its pictorial depictions. I know what all that means. What I'm trying to do now is use my intuition, knowing these basic facts and archetypes that I'm seeing, and apply more meaning to it, or glean more meaning from the card using my own intuition. So I've, where are we going? Charitable actions, balance, evening the scale. So there's some sort of balance and back and forth. Next up, we have the Page of Cups, and this is how do we work together? So obviously you can see there's that connection here between the page and the fish is a representation of the divine. So it is a direct connection to the divine, and it's like that last question on the deck doesn't even need to be asked because it would have been answered here anyway. So we have the Page of Cups for how do we work together? Connect with the divine. Take opportunities as they come. I'm getting a sense of romance here. So it might be really good for love readings as well. I believe that's it. I'll get my message from Spirit card, and then that'll be the last thing that I do. And then that basically gives me, I'll explain it in a little moment, but basically what that gives me is a basic interpretation of the cards, and then I can look over that in more depth in a second. So we've got the King of Wands here for the message from the divine. So this would be keep mastering and transforming, following your passion. So I got the regeneration because of the salamander that's here. He's eating his tail, and there's another one here on the ground. I've got unbridled passion. So there is this sense of energy and passion coming through from the King of Wands here. So let's have a quick look at the journal and see where we can go from there. Okay, so pretty basic. We've got our questions. That's all I like to do for the questions, because then I don't have to rewrite the questions here. I just have to write the card. So then I just write, these are sort of keywords or like small little statements. So yeah, it really depends on what you're getting from the cards intuitively. Wow, look at that. I completely missed a page in my journal. Okay, so then we come and we finish up here, and I will basically go through every card again. If I'm confused or if I want some more information, I'll start to pull some clarifying cards, and then I'll basically write any clarification, anything that I want to include. Basically, I don't really want to go any further with the deck interview spread at the moment because it was great. So like I said at the end there, if you're a bit confused on something or you're not getting any information, just pull one card, okay? Don't need to pull heaps, and just ask, can I please have this card clarified? Or can I have clarification on this deck, on this card? So for example, I was quite stuck on the Four of Wands when it came to the question of how do you speak? I found it a little bit hard to interpret an action card into that type of energy. So let us, I'll just show you how I like to clarify. So I pulled the card over to the side away from the deck, and I have got my book out with my pen. Remember, I use different color pens. This is just so you know what cards are in the spread and what you're writing that's not about the spread. So can I please have the Four of Wands clarified for how do you speak? Can I please have the Four of Wands clarified for how do you speak? Okay. Can I please have the Four of Wands clarified for how do you speak? Okay, yeah, we got the Emperor. So I saw the Emperor in my head as I was shuffling too. And then on the bottom we've got the Hierophant. So what did I say for this card? Let's see. I got from a place of security, reliability, stability, harmony, celebratory, and trustworthiness. So the 4 has come out again. So this is a very stable, like anything that this deck says to me is to be trusted, is very stable, it's all in order. So very simple way to clarify, just one card. If you're still confused, I would just leave it and come back at the end. You don't have to interpret every card in order. is what I find helpful for me. But for example, if you've placed down a card and you're going to come back to it, but you can't stop thinking about the message, because sometimes the messages come through very strongly, just write it down then and there, and then go back to what you were doing. Also, tailor this to how you like it. You know, if you like to have a bigger, maybe you like to have a bigger book or a different journal, and so it means that the layout of your journaling is different. Do whatever feels right to you, because that is ultimately how you're going to be most successful at keeping it a habit or something that you want to do regularly. So you, like in this deck, this is a deck interview spread I did today, but all of this here, look, the first one I wrote was a deck interview spread, and this was for my fairy tarot. Very different, bit different. What else have I got here today? The tarot journals are usually, you know, cards of the day. So this is cards of the day, and then I've wrote the date and the time, because when I started when I started to do my cards of the day, it was 4:44 p.m. So, and also by doing this, you can go back. I don't really go back too much and look back at things. But for example, I've circled a date here, and I know that this is around the time that I ovulated and fell pregnant with my daughter. So I went back into my tarot journals and I went through the dates, and I almost reinterpreted the cards, knowing what I know now and looking back and trying to look at what the cards were indicating, what they might have meant that I was not consciously aware of. I just have to show you this really quickly. Have you ever seen a flame so big on a candle? This is just a standard pillar candle too. As soon as I lit the orange one, it's gone crazy. Okay, so I do want to finish up here. Get yourself a tarot journal, write everything down. Even my cards of the day, I would write down, even if it was just like a couple words about it. And it's great to reflect on. It's great to look back at, like I was just saying with things about like pregnancy or things that have happened that you didn't know were happening back when you did the spread. Sometimes you'll find that cards have come out that back then that indicate to these situations, but because you're not aware of it, it's not something that you connect with yourself at the time. So it's just really interesting. I just love tarot so much. The ins and outs and the intricacies of it are very, very interesting, and trying to learn it, I don't feel like you ever get to the finish line with tarot. It just keeps coming and coming, the information. So I hope you had a really great time with me today. If you feel called to, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.